Hey, hey,
Yo, Jay, what's up?
man, I am having the worst Zoom problems I've had so far, dude.
Well, we're pretty deep into this virus situation, so if now you've
This
had a
is,
good run so far, I guess.
I did, so just a big forewarning. I've had three Zoom calls today. It's happened on all three of them. I started this one and we're trying to start it, and my audio completely goes. So I hear
It's
like a,
probably because of the Dodgers cap. The Zoom's
ah,
like,
you
nah,
see what
nah.
happened last night, man?
These
Oh my
These Silicon Valley guys don't like your type, you know?
Oh, dude, what's funny is it's actually my son's baseball little league is the Dodgers. They pick teams, and so I'm a Cubs fan myself, but my son wears it and he loves it when I wear the hat. But I go around everywhere and they're like, "Hey, did you see the game last night, or do you know that?" And they like start talking to me. So now I've actually kind of become a quasi Dodgers fan just so I know what people are saying when they're here. But
That's pretty
welcome
funny.
everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is Jeremy Blossom with TradeStocks.com. I'm with JC Parets, the founder of AllStarCharts.com. He is a chartered market technician, and he is one of the smartest dudes that I know. Why? Because, man, you've been making me some money. Dude, this first of all, I'm just gonna go straight at it. Gold, silver. My friends think I'm a genius, and I've been telling them, just go to allstarcharts.com. I don't take any credit for it other than pestering him all the time about.
Okay, but hold on. Listen, there's always a lesson in everything. And yes, great. Gold's doing wonderful. Silver's through the roof. Everybody's happy. Great. Fine. As Babe Ruth said, yesterday's home runs don't win today's games, right? If we're going to stick with that baseball theme.
Yeah,
How long did I tell you to wait, though?
true. You did.
How long were you like, JC, is now the time to buy gold? Is now the time to buy gold? And I'm like, when we break out, when GDX breaks 31, you'll know.
Yes.
When gold gets above those former highs, you'll know. And how consistent was I with that? And then now, forget the money you're making, the lesson. Isn't it great that you waited? Because you were
Yeah.
doing other shit with that money at the time,
I
right?
was, and I made money off those things that you told me to do back then too. But you're right. So I did wait. I still wanted to do it. I'm not upset at all that
Good for you. Cheers,
thank you,
brother.
thank you, dude. It's been pretty phenomenal. And in fact, just not the guy actually placed this trade with all on his own, complete. But we talk a lot. He has been going long options on the gold futures contract for gold. And the guy is up a few $1 million actually on the position. And so he's been super bullish, but I've shared a lot of the charts and stuff like that together with him. And he's had his own opinion about it and his own thing that he's been doing well before any of this stuff. But it's fun when you get biased like this with friends and you and everybody's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And we're all making money together from it. It's a cool thing.
As long as we get sushi out of it and some sake, I'm all for it.
Yes, I've totally ransacked what I was gonna say. I'm all flustered because of my computer issues, and I saw your text, and I was like, I know. I wanted to say congratulations, man. Your daughter is beautiful, and just so happy for you guys.
Unbelievable, huh? I'm a father. She's 2 weeks old yesterday, so that makes her 15 days old.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know about you, but when I came home from the hospital with my first kid, the hospital's intense, and you got nurses, and you got lots of people coming and going and whatever. And then we get home, and it's just me and my wife and the dogs, and and the baby's in her little bassinet thing, and we look at each other and we're like, well, now what? You know what I mean? Like, where's the manual? Like, what do we do if this thing like starts to like cry and stuff?
YouTube helps. YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, YouTube.
Dude, I put the stroller together in no time because of YouTube. Thank God. Some like random dude in Michigan that owns like a stroller department store or something. He made all these videos on how to put them all together. I'm like, God bless this man.
Yeah, dude, that guy, I know. There's a few, I remember the same thing. There's a few things that I learned how to do based off of YouTube in the early days of being a father. And it's like, it's funny that you'll remember this little story about the YouTube thing forever too, by the way. Be like, oh, I remember. How's the sleep been? Non-existent?
No, good. Not as consistent. Like, I was a good, like, I was in bed by like 10:30, 11, like pre-baby, like 10:30, 11, and up 5:30 probably. That was kind of my routine for a while, and like no alarm, just up and at 'em, like let's fucking get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And now it's different because now I'm like I'm working later. Like last night I was working till like 1 a.m. Then I'll like feed the baby, clean her up, put her to bed. Then I'll go to bed too. And then mom will take over from there. So now it's just different. So the sleep, it's just less consistent, right?
Yeah.
Less of a routine, but mom and I are working it out.
Good, dude. I'm happy to hear that. And I wish we lived closer because I totally, opt in here and be like, I'll take him in the afternoon, take her and
I'd love to live in Laguna Beach, bro. I'd love nothing more than to live right next door to you. Are you kidding me?
You know what we keep talking about? It's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen somehow, some weird way, dude. We're going to be neighbors.
Oh, I'll just stay at the Surf and Sand. I'll just kind of hang out, that'll be kind of just be my spot,
I would love it, dude. We'll buy it together. We'll buy the place. Put a couple of the.
Anybody listening out there, you go to Laguna, you stay at the Surf and Sand, like the balconies on the rooms overlook like the beach. So you're like on top of the beach. Oh, what a great place.
It's fantastic. The sun sets back there, and lots of really great restaurants and stuff like that around there. So I know everyone would love to hear us talk about Laguna Beach.
I could talk about Laguna all day.
That makes two of us. Austin says he loves that hotel. Thanks for the shout out there, Austin. And yes, that reminds me, this is a very collaborative meetings that we have where I get to go and act like the student, asked JC all different types of questions. This is all for educational purposes only. We're not trying to make anybody buy a stock or sell a stock. You do your thing, seek out your own financial advisor based off the information that we discuss in this meeting. But mainly this is for educational purposes, guys. JC and I are really good friends, and we are doing some stuff in business together. And he's also literally one of the smartest guys that I know when it comes to all things trading. And I can personally tell you, because I've been following him for years now, you've got the best methodology out of anyone out there, bar none, on how you approach the markets. And it's I
stole it from the people who came before me, Jay. I didn't invent any of this shit. No, a couple of things, a few things here and there, but pretty much I took it from my predecessors and my current, colleagues, not just the predecessors, but people that are still in their 30s and 40s. And man, I'm learning stuff from my intern. He's 19. He lives in New Zealand, and I'm learning from this kid. This kid's, man, have you seen Louis? He's the man, dude.
No, I haven't
yeah,
seen
we want to figure out how to bet on that kid.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm bullish, Louis.
At the end of the day, though, this is what we're here to discuss. We're talking about price action, right? We got everything that's going on in the world. We got COVID, and we've got Lebanon, and we've got Trump's.
What happened in Lebanon? I'm not up on the gossip. What happened now in Lebanon?
Oh, dude, it was terrible, man. There was like a huge. So Lebanon's been stricken. It's one of the countries that's been hurt really badly with COVID because they were already the economy was already fragile. There's at really big political tensions that are happening within inside the country. And there was a huge, giant explosion.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. And it killed a bunch of people. And it's
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. But I mean, there's all these things that are happening in the world, and you've got companies who are releasing new patents, and you've got Elon Musk saying crazy stuff, and people are there's a whole bunch of things.
Say whatever the hell he wants. Stock keeps ripping. Keep at it, baby. Whatever he's doing, keep sprinkling that Elon flavor on there, man. He's killing it, dude.
Well, we don't. My point is that we're not headline traders. We don't care about any of that stuff. It's already been factored into the price of stock. We want to know, looking at behavior, where we think the stock is going to go from here.
You want to know something, Jeremy? You want to know something?
Yes, I do.
There are more stocks making new 52-week highs. Not fewer stocks.
There's more stocks, which would mean that it's bullish. I wish I had a button that could, it's like a cow sound. Moo.
Is that like, but is that evidence of a deterioration in market breadth. You have to in the parlance of Office Space, these no talent ass clowns, right? You see that movie Office Space? What a great movie.
Of course I did, dude.
These no talent ass clowns coming to me, telling me that there's deterioration of breadth, telling me that a handful of tech stocks are leading this market. Like, are you just looking at the wrong data, or like, are your charts upside down? Like, I just don't get it. We are getting more stocks making new highs, not fewer stocks making new highs. Not only that, as like those old infomercials, but wait, there's more. Look at this chart. I know there's a lot of bubbles here. What this means is the further to the left, these are all the major asset classes, commodities, you know, high yield bonds, euro, yen, US stocks, large caps, small caps, growth, value, right? Kind of just major assets. And the further to the left that it is, the closer to new 52-week highs. And the further up that it is the better the performance in the month of July. So let me point you to this DJT, which is the highest. DJT means Dow Jones Transportation Index. Hello? The transports were the leaders in freaking July, and you're telling me that there's weakening breadth? Notice the lonely dollar down here below. This was the one loser. Everything was higher last month, as Straza eloquently wrote at the top of this chart. But the dollar was the loser. And, you know, what came after the transports? Emerging markets, copper, gold, all of these were the leaders. Those are things that remind me of assets that tend to do well in a weak dollar environment. But hello, let's not forget growth stocks, the NASDAQ 100, you know, these were still doing very well. It just so happened that those others did even better than the strong NASDAQ and growth, which has been the leader this whole time. And now when I'm looking at the new 52-week high list, which, you know, has kind of been a lonely list, you know, for some time now, is now breaking out above the former highs. So yesterday, so today is Thursday, so Wednesday, we got an expansion in new highs. It's just not bearish, right? We'll get that data when it starts becoming bearish, and I'll say, like we did in January and February, like, hey, Jeremy, we're getting fewer stocks making new highs. We're getting, you know, fewer stocks showing bullish momentum characteristics, remember? And then we got super bearish and the market crash. It was fantastic. That's just not what we're seeing now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think this is just, we're hitting into one of JC's methodologies and the fundamentals of how he approaches things. Somebody here mentioned that I just want to help them out for a second. They said that they can't hear anything. If you're not, this is what was happening to me today. Just exit and then come back. We'll be right here. This is being recorded. You'll get an email of the full recording. So if you do miss anything, let me know. Ooh, that looks yummy.
Italian, super Tuscan.
Ah,
cheap as hell. Dude, they give this shit away. Italy's the way to go, Jeremy. So two more things. Italy's the way to go. You want to know the best bang for your buck on planet Earth of a wine is Italy. I'm not saying it's the best wine. It's the best value for sure. So in other words, your dollar is going to go the furthest in Italy. The money you're going to spend, you're going to get the best return on quality in Italy. Then Spain after that. But Italy won.
Good to know.
So that's one thing.
Yeah. Okay.
The second thing is I was on a financial advisor thing this week. So I put up the Mike Tyson. Remember Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yeah, dude.
It's autographed by Tyson.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know, isn't it sick? I won it at a charity event, actually, like one of those auction things.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. So like the financial advisors love the thing. Every time they give a presentation, they're like, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. You know, how it's like a prerequisite if you're a financial advisor to bring that up in a meeting. So anyway, I thought that was appropriate. So funny haha for us real freaking nerds.
Yeah, that is really funny. But, you know, going back to this, actually not a bad segue into this whole methodology thing, because you can get rocked if you're not paying attention to the right things. So we all are, no one knows what the future holds for us. So by default, what we're doing is we're asking questions. And when you ask a question, what do you get, JC?
I'd probably give more questions.
You get an answer. You get an answer. If you ask a question, you'll get an answer.
I like, listen.
I didn't say you'll get the right answer. That's the difference. And that's why it's important to make sure that you have a standing approach to the markets. And you got to ask yourself a question: how does my approach work? Where are the weaknesses in that approach? What are the strengths in that approach? And you either know those strengths and weaknesses and accept them, or you don't know them at all and you're just blindly following something and you're going to get hurt. You're going to get whipsawed.
Let's talk about those weaknesses. Let's talk about that, because I think that's a great conversation. I hadn't really thought of it like that. And this is I feel like there's a blog post and future videos coming on this subject, but think about what a flaw in our system is. And right off the bat, what comes to mind is that we always have potential divergences. There's, in every uptrend, we always have, and every downtrend for that matter too, there's always a potential divergence. It's always potential. And the flaw is that in and of itself is that there's always potential. The way that we overcome that, the way that we try to embrace that quote unquote flaw, is to always ask the question: is it a higher likelihood that this is a bearish divergence, that this is deteriorating breadth? And the way that we do that is by looking at 5,000 charts a week, right? Yep. And that is what helps us answer that question, or at least push it off further and further to the point where it is no longer a potential whatever it is that we're doing, and prices actually have confirmed that we're in a new uptrend, or that we're still in an uptrend, or we're in a downtrend, if that's what we're referring to. But we can weigh that evidence, and that's how we overcome it. And I love what you said, sort of identifying where the flaws are, where the weaknesses are, where you're most vulnerable, right? Yeah. And I think we do a good job of always trying to poke holes in exactly that. I guess I hadn't really thought of it quite like that. I like that, Joe. I'm gonna use that. I don't pretend that I came up with it on my own. So
please do. It is for me. That's what I'm always asking myself is what. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes anybody can make is making too strong of an assumption about anything. And that's really where we get ourselves in trouble, right? Is we make this assumption, and we all know what assume means, right? It makes an ass out of you and me. And so to combat that, you got to say, okay, this is my thought, but where could it go wrong? Where is it? Where are the weaknesses that I have in this approach? And you got to be able to balance that out. And why I like technical analysis so much is the fact that you just nailed it on the head, is that there are false positives happening all the time, right? And every approach is going to have a false positive. You're going to have fundamental news that actually doesn't turn out to be what everyone thought it was going to be. It was fake news. It wasn't even real news to begin with. The source it wasn't the complete set of news.
Oh, your 22-year-old auditor right out of school that's giving you these numbers screwed it up? Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't believe it.
People make mistakes all the time.
Garbage in, garbage out.
The problem is that it's access to data. Because if you go the fundamental route and you're looking at the fundamental thing, okay, you're trying to understand the information that you're getting, and then you've got more questions, but you can't get the totality of the data, because why? That's proprietary information. The company's not going to release that. You've got to dig and dig and dig to be able to go and find that. And you'll never get the complete picture. Relying on technical analysis and choosing that approach, like you said, to get the data, you look at more charts to get the biggest picture you possibly can. And that's the advantage that you have in technical analysis.
There's no question. And the best part is that it's freely available data. We don't have any data that, it's like secret data. Like we have engineers that we're hiring and that we've been hiring to build us tools to do stuff with that data. Like that we might have that other people don't, but now we're just getting really fancy and we're doing cool things because somebody's got to do them. Jeremy, I'm friends with all these CEOs of all the charting platforms all over the world. Or maybe if not friends, I know them. They got their own things. They're not really interested in what JC wants or has to say, and these are even good friends of mine. They're like, JC, man, I love that you want to build these things and we'll build them for you one day, but look at our laundry list of things that we need to do first. And I'm like, you know what? Screw them. I'm just going to do it myself. So we've been hiring engineers and we're building like super dope stuff. So we're doing cool things with the data, but at the end of the day, the data is available for all of us. All right. Now with that, now that I got that off my chest, because I feel very, right, Jeremy, listen, you're a businessman. Yeah. You're a businessman. You are, you're a smart guy. You're experienced. You've lived like in multiple places. Like, I think you're one of those guys, like I say, like that guy gets it, right? How do you feel like if we're not investing in our own technology, are we not just morons? Like, isn't that just like a terrible, right?
Yes, 100%.
Gotta invest in your own shit, right?
Yeah, you 100 million % agree. You've got to be you know yourself and your capabilities better than anybody else. Why would you go and spend money on other things when you can go and invest it in the thing that
because you think that one of these guys that owns a charting software would be like, hey, maybe these guys, JC and Bruni and Strata, maybe they're onto something. Maybe we should build the shit that they want because other people might agree. You would think that's what they would say.
Yes.
But it is not.
No.
And I'm not mentioning any names. You know all the names.
I do.
They're just, what JC wants is just not a priority. So you know what? Love you guys. Someone's got to do it. So we're just building dope things. Anyway, let me show you this chart. Speaking of super dope, if you're not making money in this market, like you should just reevaluate your entire, just your life. Like if you're not making money in this market, like just rethink every decision you've ever made. Because the bond market, the gold market, and the stock market are all making all-time highs. That means they're the highest levels ever. That means if you bought it ever before last week at any point, any of those, you're making money. So if you're not, like you need to rethink the whole strategy that you've been incorporating. Is that too harsh?
There's a flip side to this too.
JC, you're such a dick.
There's a flip side to this too. You're not that smart if you're making money right now too. So there's another thing that's happening here, that if you got a lot of people who are just now, like in the last year or so, coming in this marketplace and they're thinking they're hot shit and they know more than everybody else does. I'm sorry, but everybody.
Well, they got punched in the face pretty hard in February, March. But then may have made it all back too quickly, is what I think you're saying. Like it's not really.
It's a little too easy. They didn't have. It's a little too easy. You know what I mean? We haven't seen. So that's what I think. I think that's just another caveat. Why? Because I'd say the same thing to JC. If JC doesn't get too high on his hog, he'll absolutely tell you when he's made a mistake. When he's like,
because I don't know shit. So I don't expect.
Right, because listen,
we got gold ended up working.
Great. Yep.
Got one for the good guys. Great. Yep. But we've gotten them wrong before.
That's right. And we're going to do it. We're going to get it wrong several more times.
That's right.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So when you look at this chart, what does that mean to you think? What do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Forget JC. What do you think?
When all three are at all-time highs?
Gold, bonds, stocks making all-time highs. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
That they all can't continue to make all-time highs.
That's like the first thing that you think of, right? Me too. Okay, but you could have said the same thing freaking in January.
True.
So?
Well, but the fact that they are, why fight the trend? So if they're going to continue to move up until they tell us that they're not going to continue to move up, then I'd say that's the thing. That's the mistakes I used to make, honestly, is that I would try, my contrarian in me would look at that and be like, I'm going to short all three of them. You know what I mean? They're all three going up. One of them's going to work out. I'll cut my losses on one of them and I'll be right on another, right? That contrarian type of view. But the more and more I think about it is that personally, I think if all three of these things are going up now, I don't personally have all my money. I don't have any money in U.S. bonds at all. It's just, I don't even think the stocks I own are technically in the S&P.
No, you don't like that 1.5% yield or whatever?
No, I've got nothing there. I've got a lot in gold and silver, and then, like I said, I don't think they're even in the S&P.
Not enough, right? Not enough.
I don't have enough. I didn't buy.
Whenever it works, you never have enough.
Gosh, man, right? Doesn't that like kill you? It just,
Especially you that asks me about it every time we talk. If anybody should have too much, it should be you.
I know, dude. I definitely did not go big enough on the position. So, but yeah,
You
so
know?
I mean, those are my initial thoughts since you asked.
Well, the amount of mental energy wasted on something that you didn't take advantage of enough, isn't that you made some money, but forget the money. There's always a lesson. What's the lesson? You were so into it. You were so right. You trusted me. It worked. And you didn't own enough?
Yeah, I didn't know enough.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a huge bummer. It's a huge bummer.
So great. So instead of doing an end zone dance that you made money, think about how you fucked up.
Yeah. Right. I either have to be committed or not.
Go big or go home, baby. Come on.
Go home. Go big or go home. It's exactly right. Yeah.
Clearly, you did not go big enough.
And by the way, everybody, so you know, I've been in the trading and investing space since 2004. I worked at a hedge fund, own my own financial advisory firm. So like I've been doing this for a while and I didn't do enough. I didn't go all in, even though JC had been telling me forever. And when he did finally do it, I did pull the trigger. And I still, I guess I'm still very much in the position, but could I put more into it? Is there powder that's completely dry right now that's not in it? Yes. And yes. So that's.
And now on the flip side, if it would have been irresponsible to have been more aggressive, right? And
sure, but this
is knowing your discipline, you're like, you know what? Any more would have just, even though I was right, any more would have just been bad news. I got a family, I got a house, I got a business, I got my other portfolio. Like doing stupid shit like that is just not in my best interest. If that's the case, then it's not a mistake. Yeah, now, right. if you could have lived with more losses than it was, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. And that's exactly what
And you could have lived with more losses.
I could have lived with more. I still could live with more. Yes, I could still add to the position. And Frank, in fact, that's why I'm waiting for you to get to a few charts to see.
JC, get to the damn gold already. It's really
what am I going to be doing here with some of this stuff?
All right. You want to look at it? We can do that. Yep. You want to do that?
Let's do it.
All right. Yes, I do. I've been listening to way too much Def Leppard lately.
I was on a big AC/DC kick for like a straight month, bro. I think I listened to, my kids, my 5-year-old son was, hey, Dad, can you play that rockin' jammin' music?
Rockin' jammin'!
Yeah, he goes, can you play that rockin' jammin' music? I'm like, sure, Bennett. Let's do it.
The other day, my parents were over visiting the baby, and I had a bunch of reggae on, and my mom's like, oh, JC, this is so relaxing. I'm like, Mom, I got something that can make you a little more relaxed if you want.
It goes really well with this music, Mom.
Yeah. Like, I am not smoking that weed. All right, look at the gold, right?
Yep.
There it is. All-time highs. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive positive months, and we are now. Remember a month ago, I was like, there has only been 1 month ever in history that gold has closed higher, which was August of 2011. Well, now there isn't a month where gold has closed higher. So anybody, and this is a good lesson on patience. These clowns have been looking for the next bull market in gold since the last bull market in gold ended, right? And they have missed out on 9 years of just a big nothing burger in the precious metals market. And that's only if you were patient enough to be in it until like a year ago when things actually started getting going. But nothing for so long. So it was such a bad trade for so many people that were just, ignoring the trend. And it frustrates me, Jeremy, because people are like, oh, JC, what do you think of Apple? Or they're going to buy Microsoft, or they're going to buy this energy stock or this airline or whatever it is. They're going to do all this homework. Who's the CEO? How much money do they make? How much did they lose? What's their earnings? Da, 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 da. They completely disregard the direction of the primary trend.
Yep.
It takes 1 second, to look at the chart and say, hey, this was going from the lower left to the upper right.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that I'm a genius. The rest of the market agrees. Hello, right? Or I want to buy this airline or this casino stock because I want to go dumpster diving. And I look at this and it's going from the upper left to the lower right. Why do I want to buy this crap? Nobody else seems to want this crap. What the hell do I want this for?
Yeah.
People don't think that way.
No.
And I talk to behavioral finance people all the time. Annie Duke. I love Annie Duke. She's fantastic. And like we've gotten friendly over the years, which is super cool because I'm a huge fan of hers. Denise Shaw, who's the real Wendy Rhodes from Billions. Like she's the real one. She's badass. You know, my friend Phil Perlman, he's the man. Yeah. Brett Steenbarger, he's the man. So like I talk to these people and Andrew Menaker in San Francisco, he's a G. So like I talk to these people and like I ask them all these questions. They have great answers. And that's just one thing that we just, you know, they give me, I mean, this goes back to like, you know, missing the mommy's nipple type stuff. Like they're coming to me with, and I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, man, they're coming to me with like some heavy shit.
Wow.
So this is the stuff I think about, and I'm learning more and more about, you know, our behavior because that's how we can take advantage of it. Because there's a huge arb, Jay. There's a huge arb, and not to like go off on this tangent of Homo sapiens. Morgan's like, oh my God, is he talking about Charles Darwin again? The bottom line is there's a huge arb between those of us who are aware of our human behavioral traits and flaws, most importantly.
Yeah.
And this huge segment of the population that completely ignores that. In many cases, they don't even care or even know that they can understand the way that they think and why they think and why they do certain things, because that's actually very natural, going back to our ancestors since the cognitive revolution 70,000 years ago and the agricultural revolution, like all of those things, understanding that gives us such a huge advantage, particularly in the marketplace, which is so psychologically driven. So just understanding that even a little bit in my unprofessional, uneducated, I am not in the category of those others, the Annie Dukes and the Perlmans and the Steenbarger, Menaker, Denise Shaw, like those are gangsters. Like those are like, woo, I love them. Aaron Beck, you know, Darwin Obbs, you know what I mean? All these people, I learned from them. And the little that I've learned, I know for a fact, gives me such a huge advantage over everyone else. There's a huge arb, Jeremy. That's the trade. You want to know the trade?
Yeah.
Long cognitive revolution, short the ignorant. Yeah. That's the trade. And that arb is huge, man. You want to bet on yourself. You want to understand what you're thinking, what the others are thinking, and why there's this huge disparity between like Tesla shorts that are obsessed with the short, or these gold bugs that are always bullish gold, even though it's been shit for a decade. Like understanding what's wrong with these people in the head really helps. You know, they say you shouldn't kick someone when they're down, but that's actually the best time to kick them. When they're down, that's the time you want to kick them. So you want to understand why they're so flawed mentally, and we profit from that. That's the market. Listen, brother, you know, that's what it is. You want to be in the market. It's the Wild West. You know, there's no friends here.
Yeah. So I love it, man. Really well said. I love the tangents that we go down. And it's these little things that if people who are paying attention will pick up on and really start to dwell on after these discussions. And actually, I think we're making the big, we can show me all these different charts you want to show me. You are talking about the literally most important thing that really matters.
And go reach out to these people. They're happy to talk to you. Yeah. And go read what they're writing. Annie Duke, Denise Shaw, Brett Steenbarger, Andrew Menaker, Phil Perlman. Boom. There's your Fab Five. Go get them.
Go get them. Go research it. And the reality is that we're talking about trading and investing. So if you're brand new to this and you're like, wait, this guy just said kick somebody when they're down. And you're like, why would anybody ever say anything like that? Well, because first of all, we're not talking about walking down the street, right? We're not talking about going to a restaurant. We're talking about investing. The purpose of investing is to get your money to work as absolutely hard for you as humanly
possible. Selfish endeavor.
It's exactly right. And because it's cash. They don't have feelings. Cash doesn't have feelings. It doesn't feel anything. In fact, it's just going to, whatever you tell it to do, it's going to do that. So if you go tell it to chase a dog stock that has no potential of ever going anywhere because you're
just because you feel bad because of the bank teller is going to be unemployed, like that's not a reason to buy stock.
That's right. It's not the, and you're in that, you're not, now you're out of that game. And then if you're in this game, who are the participants in this game and what's in it for them and how are they playing this game? And that is what he's talking about here, is that if you can think like that about trying to understand the players that are in this, including yourself as a player, that right there unlocks a whole different side.
And understanding your own thoughts, you know, because once there's money involved, crazy pills start, you know, we're Looney Tunes between the ears. So it's, and one of the things that I've learned from studying these particular folks, that I encourage you to go read everything that they have to say and write and video, everything. What I've learned is that you can't stop yourself from having these emotions. In fact, it's probably dangerous. It's very unnatural to prevent these emotions. They're gonna come. It's perfectly natural. The art is in recognizing those emotions and feelings when they come and then not acting upon them, being like, there's that, oh man, my great grandfather, that bastard, oh, he's trying to get me good. But nope, I am not going to do that. Right?
I literally just had a discussion today about an emotion comes up. Oh, look, this is I want to burn the house down. I'm fucking angry, right? To watch that thing come up, see it. Oh, it's an interesting feeling. And then let it go away. Like, bye-bye feeling that wants to go and, like, you know, whatever. Like, you got to, like, observe you know, that's the, you know, our children, man. Your child is going to have a much better shot at a lot of stuff, because that's what I tell my kids. I was like, what are you feeling? Like, acknowledge that they have feelings. What are they feeling? Why do they feel? You know what I mean? It's like very simple things, but there's a lot of people who didn't have parents like that. Yeah. And they've just been sheltered from this. And it's all affecting it. But yeah, I completely agree, man, that there is this way of understanding that feeling, coming it up. If you're not, are you into stoicism at all?
Yeah.
This is like a lot of
Marcus Aurelius. That's my dog. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So Marcus Aurelius, there you go. So there's a really great book called The Obstacle is the Way. And this is what this is about. It's about that you are usually the obstacle. It's your own thoughts and emotions, and you have to understand how to get through them and process them. And that is the way. Is all these other things.
Everybody thinks that the Fed is against them and the government's against them and everything's against them. All that's bullshit. The only thing that's against you is your own brain, you moron. Like, it's yourself. Look in the mirror. You're the only obstacle in front of you, not the Fed or the government or Lindsay Lohan or whatever, you know, Bruce Jenner. I don't know. Whatever people are into. I've heard every conspiracy theory. Yeah, JC, gold's only going up because of, I don't know. And then the things that come out.
Tony's asking, related to the subject, flaws and such, how do you guard against bias and preference?
Awareness. And there's, Annie Duke said it best. She's like, JC, there's no cure. It's not like you could just take a pill and be like, I'm not a Homo sapien anymore. I'm good. And now I'm not going to make those same mistakes. Like, it don't work that way. So there's no cure. So it's just always a work in progress. Understanding the reason you're having those thoughts, then recognizing yourself when you have that. So until you understand what those feelings and emotions are, you can't recognize them when you have them. So there's steps. And then the more experience you have, the more like you see it coming, you wait for it. You're like, in a few minutes, I'm going to have this emotion. And then boom, gets it, right? Like, it just, you know yourself. And the better you know yourself, and by the way, you're not the only one. We're all like that. We're all Homo sapiens. We all have these emotions. And I have gone out of my way, Jeremy, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Philippines, Dublin, Amsterdam, London, Greece. I've got all over America, Hawaii, Japan, India multiple times, Mumbai, Delhi. I'm hosting, when this all gets better, we're having a cricket tournament in Goa. It's going to be sick, dude. You got to come. I've gone. and I've spoken with investors in all of these places, in many cases, multiple times. Me and the way I grew up, a Cuban family in Miami versus Tokyo or Kyoto and the way a family grows there, or in India, in Mumbai, vastly different cultures. But it is remarkably scary how similar the brain is. It's exactly the same. The fear, the greed, all of the emotions, all of our behavioral flaws all come through across all the cultures. It's freaking crazy, dude. Crazy. It's fascinating to me.
That is really, you know what, you just, that's, I've never heard anybody kind of put it like that. And to take that kind of like a step further, like, has anybody here gone and researched like going on to a totally different foreign exchange, pulled up random, charts on these exchanges of these different companies, and not like penny stocks, like real bigger companies on these exchanges, and you ever look at a chart? Do you notice that those charts don't look any different than our charts?
They look exactly
that right there is proof that our brains work exactly the same way. Cultures totally different, right? They don't even, fun fact about Japan, you probably already knew this, I guess they don't even give you a test before the 2nd or 4th grade. Instead, what they do, the first 2 years you're in school, you learn manners. That's what they teach you, manners, which I think is like amazing, because my 5-year-old could definitely use that.
The sushi chefs have to work for 10 years before they're allowed to touch the fish.
Touch the fish, yes. The culture, I know.
Are you kidding me? 10 years? What are you doing for 10 years? You can't touch the damn fish. You're a sushi chef.
I'm 7 years and I got 3 more years. But my point is that you have so much different culture, but behavior, despite the culture, is being reflected in the price of the stocks, which gets plotted on a chart. And we get to see trends happening. We get to see cup and handles, breath widening.
Jay, I'll do you one better. Go back 100 years. Before decimalization, before the global market, before the Fed and all that stuff. Go look at the charts. Go look at what Charlie Dow was writing about in the 1880s. I read his Dow theory letters all the time just for fun. If you took the dates out and it didn't say 1891 or whatever, like, you would think that Business Insider wrote it last week, or Wall Street Journal, or, like, it's always been the same. Markets evolve. We have new asset classes. Cryptocurrency didn't exist in the 1950s, but look at a chart of the S&P 500 in the 1950s, and then go look at Bitcoin. They look the same, or they're doing the exact same thing. It's really, it is remarkable. I mean, I act surprised, even though I shouldn't be, because I see this shit all the time. But when we really like kind of take a step back, have a glass of wine, and really think about it, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy, which also means what, everybody? It means just like when we take a big, huge snapshot of a 30-year chart, what are we doing? We're confirming the biases, right? We're confirming the thoughts that we're having. So to prove out our whole topic here on technical analysis, the fact that you can go back hundreds of years, and that you can even go into different cultures with different languages and different business types, and look at their charts and make the same exact predictabilities that we can on our companies here. Where else could you do that? Where else could you go and have that type of consistency with your methodology? You just can't, which is hence why we do this.
Using fundamental analysis, Jeremy, you're not going to be able to be an expert in Japanese small cap industrials.
Yeah, true.
If you're like some dude in Texas that like knows a bunch about energy, like good luck in that endeavor. Not to mention, then you got to learn about the Malaysian palm oil market, or the Indian cardamom futures, or, like I could go on and on and on. Obviously, as technicians, we don't have to be an expert at any of those things, because it really just price behavior, and it's just letters and numbers as far as we're concerned. So the fact that I don't have to be an expert in any of those areas, or in many cases, pretend that I'm an expert in those areas, because let's be serious, like there's no way. that you can be an expert in all of those areas. It's just impossible. So the fact that we study price, man, I'm blessed every single day. Listen, we only have 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you want to do rapid fire? Let's just do this. Look at a bunch of charts.
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Can you see this or no?
Not yet.
How about now?
Got you.
What if I told you that gold's going to 2,500?
I'd give you a big old kiss.
Well, gold's going to 2,500, but I wouldn't make that bet if it's below 1920. How about that?
Okay, good to know.
Why do you think I'm choosing 1920?
That is the previous all-time high, which now is going to be resistance / support. So if it stays above 1920,
in theory,
or in theory, it'll be.
If we're right, it will be. If we're wrong, it won't be. Right?
Yes, right.
Because all I know is that I know nothing. That's my homie Socrates. So this was that 31 level in gold miners. Remember you kept asking me, like last year, JC, when we get above, especially in the fourth quarter last year, you were like, when is it time? When is it time? Like, when we take out 31, you'll know. Well, look what happened. We took out 31, and what's happened since then?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ripped. I think we're gonna make new all-time highs. So I think GDX gets to the high 60s, and we go retest those former highs. Probably struggle there for a little bit, and then ultimately move on. But I do think we at least get there. When you tell me, can GDX, can the gold miners get to 100? Oh my God, the gold bugs are gonna love me for this. They usually hate me because I'm always running my mouth about the gold bugs. I think GDX can go to 100, folks. You heard it right here, Jeremy. You can tell your marketing guys that they can use that.
Great, love it.
GDX going to 100. The gold bugs are gonna eat that one up alive. I do, and just keeping it real, because somebody's got to around here. 60, 65, there's some trouble there. So let's just be serious and just reevaluate when the time comes, and there should be some trouble there. But do we get to 100 ultimately? I do.
Cool.
Notice the S&P 500 rolling over relative to gold. So as well as the S&Ps have done, gold's been the real leader. And then compared to bonds, some might argue gold or bonds or maybe safe haven, something like that. Gold's breaking out relative to bonds, so that's interesting. I'm really curious to see how silver reacts to this 27. It closed above it today. This was former support, Jeremy, in 2011, 2012, 2013, that once we broke, we're now back. So if I can just take it back to gold, when gold got to that level, right? You see those 2011, 2012 lows? Yeah. When gold got to that level, it consolidated for 6 months there. See that?
Yeah.
So now silver is doing that. So let's see how that reacts. I have a funny feeling it's not gonna be easy. Swiss franc. JC, why do I give a damn about the Swiss franc? You know why? Because its correlation with gold is through the roof. So when Swissy's doing well, so's gold. And this looks like a nice base as far as I'm concerned in Swissy to match the base in gold. So if Swissy breaks out, I think that's all that is positive for gold.
I like it. So someone asked to go over silver. He just did. I actually wanted to hear your thoughts on silver as well. So I know you guys all know the story already, but I had a really fun go at it in 2011 when it made its last huge run. So definitely interesting time. Silver is much more volatile than gold, but yeah. If you have any other questions. Oh, Bitcoin. John had a question on Bitcoin.
Shocking that there's a question on Bitcoin. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, Jeremy. Can you?
No, not Bitcoin, man. I don't understand why anyone's ever paying attention to it.
Listen, this is a baseball psychology themed episode. You notice this, Jeremy? How philosophical we got? We got pretty deep there, man. It was getting a little heavy.
I like
getting a little heavy, a little kumbaya, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me. What do you think about this Bitcoin? So anyway, my point was about the baseball, Yogi Berra.
Yeah, I know Yogi Berra.
This is deja vu all over again.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it here. We saw it again, and we saw it again. Consolidation, breakout, ripper. Consolidation, breakout, ripper. Consolidation, we just got the breakout. What's next?
No ripper.
I'm thinking ripper. And then you can use this. Your marketing guys are going to love me after this episode. You can tell them Bitcoin's going to 30,000.
Ah, there we go.
That's one. Jeremy's like, we're going to use that one.
Dude, you have no idea. You have no idea.
All-Star Chart says that Bitcoin's going to 30,000. So next thing you know, I'm going to have the Wall Street Journal calling me like, really, bro? I'm like, yeah, really. They're like, all right, why? I'm like, because there's more buyers than sellers. They're like, really? You don't have I'm like, that is, then I have to do this whole song and dance again.
I know. They're like, but we really wanted more. We really wanted you to quote somebody else.
Talk about the blockchain, JC. I'm like, dude, I can't even spell blockchain. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Bitcoin is getting really, really interesting, folks. So definitely keep an eye on that. I'm for sure that's my next thing you'll be hearing me say a lot here is let's check on Bitcoin, JC. Let's check on Bitcoin. So
listen, it's going up. I don't give a damn what it is. We could be talking about Japanese yen. We could be talking about Samsung, Microsoft, gold, bonds. Don't matter to me. As long as it's moving, there's a trend. Let's do it, baby.
Yeah. A couple questions. Any other particular cryptocurrencies that you're interested in other than Bitcoin? Yes or no? If so, what? And then someone was looking at the airline sector.
Funny you should say. 470 on the Ethereum. That was our target. That's 27 for silver, if you will. So I think let's see how it reacts to this 470 level. Struggle under 500 for a little bit, and then I think 1200 is next ultimately. But I think there's some trouble here. Like silver, uptrends, but some short-term trouble should be. I don't want to say assumed, but we shouldn't be surprised if we see a little trouble here.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so we have a special tonight that we wanted to bring everybody. This is exclusive to the charting room, which is what you guys are all part of tonight. We really appreciate it. JC has been talking about one of his new favorite data points that he's been collecting. It's been getting a lot of buzz on the internet about how Robinhood traders are beating the S&P 500. That was the headline today across MarketWatch and a few other finance websites. And it's true. The Robinhood traders of the world are actually finding opportunities. And what we have done, and like I said, I love to take credit for what JC does. What we have done, JC particularly, has taken the Robinhood data and we're calling it under the hood. And it is information that he's doing. And then he's applying his technical analysis to the under the hood stocks that he's identified. And so we have got a special service for you guys. I just dropped the link right there. This is an unbelievable value here that you guys are able to get an annual subscription that you're going to be able to go and access all of this information tonight. So, JC, did you want to touch base on any of this under the hood and kind of give a little bit more context to this?
Listen, I don't want to take all the credit for it. Like, we designed it, but then like the engineers built it for us, right? And that's way above my pay grade. So kudos to Thomas and the crew. And they're building a bunch of other super cool things too. But basically what it does is, this is open source is my understanding, and API and all these fancy words. And what these guys do is they scrape it, right? Another fancy word, there should be like every time JC says fancy word, like it should just be like, API, scrape,
Fancy word here.
So they're scraping the data. And then basically at the end of the day, what we get notified of is when there's an irregular amount of buying activity across Robinhood accounts in a specific stock. And then that's all it does. Now we're building it so that we're bringing in short interest and we're getting stock twits data. Like we're getting super fancy now. But right now, all it tells us is, hey, a bunch of lunatics are buying the stock on their phone. And we get it, and that builds a universe. They're like, hey, a bunch of lunatics are buying these stocks. and these are the ones they're buying even more of, the most of, and here are the 30. We do 60, the top 60 biggest changes, right? And then we add the human element. And that's the key. The robots are great, fantastic, but you still need that human element. So the robots spit out the universe, and then me and the team dive in, and we're like, okay, these lunatics are buying this, we're buying those too. These we're not interested in, like Ford and like, whatever. We're not interested in those. We're interested in, Workhorse. And then these guys are out of their birds. We're going to take the other side, like Nikola, right?
Yep.
Killed it in Nikola, shorting it, betting against them. So we're not just betting with them, which for the most part, that's actually worked really well. We also find opportunities to short. And in future market environments, there will be more shorting opportunities than buying opportunities. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But right now, the Robin Hooders, if you will, we are Robin the Hood. That's another good one. I think that's an E-Tie one. They're doing great homework. They're finding great stocks. We're buying it with them, and it's working. And by the way, our institutional clients, these guys have more money than God. They love this, and they're paying a hell of a lot more money than $9 a month.
Yeah, they are, and it's really, really cool, you guys. So I think that it's averaging $9 a month. It's so inexpensive, and you're getting real trade signals that are being generated from this information, and it's really, really cool. And it's something that I think is going to be more and more of the trend as more and more data becomes available. You're going to see people do this, and JC was smart enough to think of this first. So if you guys want in on it, that's the way to do it. We're doing a special for you guys to take advantage of it. $9 a month. That's ridiculous and inexpensive. JC, you are a gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate you in more ways than one. I'm super, super excited for this next chapter in your life, dude. I love it when good people procreate, man, and make more good people. So
she's the most beautiful little thing in the world, man.
She really is, and it's only going to get better. So thank you for that. Any parting words for everybody?
I'm a father now, so it's easy to go, reflect where I'm at, what I want to do, and what I'm proud of and what I'm not. And I'd say one of the things that I'm most proud of is how much I've gone out of my way to learn. And you don't always see it right off the bat, like, oh, I learned that didn't really help me. Oh, I learned that didn't really help me. But when you add all those things together and you really sort of digest and sort of like put yourself in now a much better position compared to those who haven't gone out of their way to learn. And it's not just in books or blog posts or videos, but it's in human interaction. And I can't emphasize that enough. Continuing to learn and just understanding how little you know. And the more you think you know, the less you probably do, is kind of how I see it. So if we're going to have one lesson now, is just always keep an open mind. Like anytime you have a victory, instead of doing an end zone dance, think about how it could have been even better, right? Then go do the end zone dance. Right? Or how I do, I order a bunch irresponsible amount of sushi, or, we all have our celebrations, and don't not celebrate. Life is a fucking celebration, man. Everybody should have a sip of champagne every day before dinner. Life is a celebration, so enjoy it. But even in the best of times, there's a lesson. So don't lose out on that opportunity. You're only selling yourself short.
In the best of times, there's always a lesson, but especially in the worst of times. So well said, my friend. I'm a big golf fan, and they were talking to some golfer about like what happens. How does he stay so calm when he has a bad day out on the course? And he goes, when he has a really, really bad day out on the course, he comes home and tells his wife that I learned a lot that day. Never a bad day, just a day that you learn more than other days.
I like that.
Right? True. It's true. It's really, really true. So really, really great words of wisdom from you, JC. Congrats again on being a father, man. Welcome to the club. It's amazing.
It's a cool club.
Yeah. All right. Rick said he just signed up. Yeah.
One more time. Ready? Annie Duke, World Series of Poker champion. Denise Schull, the real Wendy Rhodes. My man, Phil Pearlman, Mr. Pearls himself, Dr. Phil. Bill Perlman, Mr. Dr. Brett Steenbarger. This guy is so gangster that Paul Tudor Jones said, fire all your clients. Now you only work for me. That's how good. So when that guy talks, you want to listen. And last but not least, Andrew Menaker, that when PTJ stole Brett Steenbarger from the rest of the world, Andrew Menaker got Steenbarger's old clients. So those are your 5.
And because he won't say it himself, JC Parets is on that list too.
Oh, no. That's not philosophical, guys. I'm just a chart nerd.
Well, today proved otherwise. Thank you so much for your commentary, my friend. Really, really great seeing you. Until next week, everybody, be well. Thanks, guys.